Hello, welcome back to another video tutorial with Inspiration Ink. Today we're going to be focusing on using one of the amazing celebration products that can be earned for free with a qualifying purchase, and that is the Berry Blessings Bundle. It comes with this cute little stamp set and a pack of 12 by 12 designer series paper with some wonderful designs on it. We're also going to be focusing on using our new Gilded Leafing Embellishment, which is a great way to just add a little bit of gold glimmer to your cards. So I'm going to show you two super easy ways to apply this Gilded Leafing Embellishment, and then we're going to put the card together. So the first and easiest way to apply the embellishment is with a piece of our tear and tape adhesive. So I've got a strip of our rich razzleberry cardstock, and I've already put a line of the tear and tape adhesive just along one long edge. And all you're going to do is peel off that backing, and then you're going to take your Gilded Leafing Embellishment, which comes in a container like this. But you want to have a container ready to hold this, because when you take this lid off, it just like poofs and explodes everywhere. So you want to have a container ready. I really would recommend a some sort of a plastic container with a lid, you know, the kind you'd put leftovers in, but I didn't have one of a good size. So I am using an old full wide stamp case that we no longer sell. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up, and you may see some little bits of gold go flying everywhere because this stuff is extremely light, and it just wants to go everywhere and cling to everything, as you can see. So once you've got your cardstock with the strip of adhesive along the edge, all you're going to do is press it right into your container with the Gilded Leafing Embellishment. Just kind of give it a nice hard press, peel it back up, and as you can see, I have some gold leafing stuck all over. Now that's way more than I want, so we're just going to brush off some of the excess back into the container, hopefully. You may see that it does tend to want to go everywhere, so we're going to brush off the worst of it and peel it off. And then I have found that the best way to get all the little bits off is to use a fairly stiff paintbrush. So I have one here that I'm going to use just to kind of brush, oops, I breathed a little heavy there, sorry about that. Brush off some of the excess and get off most of it along the edges there. So that is a super easy way to apply our Gilded Leafing Embellishment to your projects. Of course, that'll give you a nice straight line. So there you go. Alright, the other way you can apply our embellishment is using our heat and stick powder. Oops, got a little piece there, it's trying to get away. And some more pieces here and there. Alright. So the other thing you can do is to add it using our heat and stick powder. So to do that, I have stamped my sentiment from the stamp set onto a piece of white cardstock, and then I used our punch, tailored tag punch, to punch it out. So I've already done that, and now we're going to use the Versamark, and you're just going to kind of get the edges of that punch out using the Versamark. And it doesn't have to be, you know, a certain distance or any kind of special amount. You're just going to get the edges, and then you are going to sprinkle on some of our heat and stick powder. Now I am using an old product that we don't sell anymore, and I'm really sad that we don't, because it's an awesome product, but it was called a Powder Pal. So I'm just picking up some of the old, or some of the heat and stick powder that was left over from a previous card, and then I'm going to use that paintbrush. I had a tiny one here somewhere. There it is. I have a smaller paintbrush that I can use to kind of knock off a little bit of the excess of the heat and stick if I want to. And then when I'm all done making these cards, I will be dumping the excess back into the container so that I can use it again. So now that you've got that done, you want to kind of hold it off to one side, and you're going to use your heat tool. And I apologize, you're going to have to watch me do this. So you're going to heat your heat and stick powder with your heat tool, and hopefully you can hear me over this, until it starts to melt, and you'll see it start melting and kind of getting shiny. Let's switch it around a little bit, grab the other side here. I'm trying not to touch the heat and stick powder or burn my fingers. Make sure it's all nice and hot and melted and working rather quickly. We're going to pull back in that container full of stuff and throw it in there and give it a little press. And now we're going to knock off the excess again. So where the heat and stick powder was and where it was hot and melted still is where the Gilded Leafing Embellishment is going to stick. And I can tell I worked a little too slowly there and got an area here that did not get hot enough. So it's easy to fix though. We're just going to get some of that excess off. And I'm just going to use my Versamark pad again. Kind of use the edge here and just dampen that up just a little bit again. And then we will try a little bit of the heat and stick powder again. And now let's heat that again, and this time hopefully we'll be working a little faster. It's actually a lot easier to do when you're not also trying to do a video and grab everything out of from your workspace while keeping your camera angle clear and all that sort of thing. So just heat that back up. Let's try that. Oh yeah, looks like it's sticking this time. There we go. And now again, I'm just gonna rub off the excess. And it doesn't have to be perfect. The idea is to be kind of an old-fashioned looking, like you'd had a gilded piece of pottery or something, and some of the gilding has worn off over time. So there we go. That looks pretty good. So that's the other way that you can apply our Gilded Leaf Embellishment. I'm going to try and get on my little flyaway flakes of gold here and put them back in the container for now. So there you go. That's the other way to apply it. So now all we're going to do is basically finish assembling the card. And to do that, you're going to start by taking a piece of Blackberry Bliss cardstock and running it through our hammered metal embossing folder using the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And it's going to come out looking like this. So once you have that done, let me put my little name thing back up there again. Hopefully it's in screen. Screen's behind me, so I can't tell. So once you get that done, then you can take your piece of cardstock that has the edging of the gilded leafing, and you're just going to adhere a strip of the Very Delightful Designer Series paper to it. Now I chose a piece that has like blackberries on it. So there we go. And now before we stick this down, we want to add a little bit of ribbon, and I'm going to teach you a trick that I show my customers because this is a great way to conserve ribbon. So I'm cutting a piece of ribbon that's just a little bit longer than the piece of cardstock that I want to add it to. And I'm just going to lay it on there, flip it over to the back side and tuck those edges around. And then we're going to use that wonderful tear and tape adhesive again, as soon as I figure out where I put it. And tear off a little piece and just put it across like that. and then another piece across like that. Okay, so this is a good way, I think, to add the ribbon to your projects, because it doesn't waste the ribbon. When you wrap it all the way around and then tie it in place, you're kind of wasting the ribbon a little bit. Plus, I find it lays flatter this way, and you can kind of jiggle it around to get it exactly where you want it. So now I'm just going to peel off those backings, and this gets stuck to our piece of dry embossed cardstock. Now, as you can see, sometimes when you dry emboss, that makes the paper shrink just a little bit. So if you wanted to, you could use a pair of snips and just kind of go in and trim off a little bit of that excess along the top edge there if you want to. It's not that much, so if you don't want to bother with that, you don't have to. Now this is going to get stuck to the front of a Razzleberry card, just like that. And then we're going to take our little embossed or gilded sentiment, and we're going to glue that in place using some Stampin' Dimensionals. And then we're going to add a little Blackberry that I stamped and fussy cut out. Just kind of put that off to the side using another couple of Stampin' Dimensionals, the little minis this time. We're going to add a Gold Glitter Enamel Dot up here, and just a little piece of the ribbon again. This ribbon is from the mini catalog, and all you got to do is just slide that little extra bit underneath, tie your little half knot, or a bow if you're good at bows. I'm not particularly good at bows, so I tend not to do them. And then you're just going to trim the ends of your ribbon. And yes, I'm using the Retired ribbon scissors, another product I'm really sorry, Retired. But now see, if I want to, I can slide that little ribbon knot over or back, and I can play with it until I get it just where I want it. So when you get everything glued down, you're going to have this fun gilded card to send to someone to say thank you or to wish them well or whatever you need. So thank you for joining me again. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.